Hello my beautiful friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Nova Gnome Creations and I'm Nova, and I'm so glad you decided to join me for this wonderful WIP Wednesday. What are you working on for this WIP Wednesday? I hope that you're doing well today. I hope that your week is going well for you. I hope that you slept well. I hope you have things to look forward to this week or this weekend. Let me know what you've got going on. Anything cool happening? Anything to look forward to? Or are you just ready to get the week done with and relax? So today I am whipping up a hat. So I've been kind of hyper focusing on this hat since I finished the bingo bag. I was like, yay, now I can work on my hat because if you remember, when I started working on these Pokeball granny squares that I posted a tutorial for, the inspiration actually came to me because I wanted to make a colorful hat. And I've been talking about wanting to make a colorful hat for a hot minute here. And I was going to do just a mushroom granny square hat like I have been doing because I've made several of those at this point and I know how to make them and I really like them. And I have it kind of down to a science of how I want to do it. But I actually had something I wanted out of this hat. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I think I'm going to like work from the ground up. So I made my Pokeball granny square. I've got my Pokeball granny squares. I made 4 of them. I've got them ready for the hat. I've spent the last few days playing with this hat, doing things and undoing things. It's not done. It's definitely not done. It is a WIP. But what do I want out of this hat? I want it to be bright and colorful, but I want it to be textured. I want it to be a textured bucket hat. So what do I mean by textured? I mean like puff stitches, bobble stitches. I even tried out popcorn stitches, which I think I have ruled out at this point. And you will see those here in a minute because I took a clip last night before I took them out. And then maybe like some surface stitches, just, you know, playing around with texture and not just the whole thing being one height, I guess. So yeah, I'm playing around with texture on this. I think it would be cool to have a textured bucket hat. I've seen textured beanies before for crochet, and I always love textured beanies. I've never made one, but I've seen them, and I think they're so cute. But I was like, ooh, what if I can come up with like a textured bucket hat? So that's what I'm working on doing. And then obviously you don't have to use Pokeball granny squares. That's the cool thing about granny square hats is you can substitute them out for whatever granny square you want. You just have to make it fit the dimensions you need. So my Pokeball granny square is a 6-inch granny square and it's got 15 stitches on each side. So when I figure out how I like this hat, if I can figure out how I like this hat to meet what I'm wanting it to, I will have a new hat design that I can put different granny squares into and make totally different hats, but they'll be this textured hat. And they don't even all have to be brightly colored. So I'm going to show you guys a clip from yesterday of what I had going on. And then I'll bring you back and I'll show you what I've got going on right now. Okay guys, so I'm going to clip this into tomorrow's video. I wanted to include you guys in the process a little bit. And before I film tomorrow, I'm probably going to change some things about what I've got going on with this hat right now. So what I've got going on right now, I'll just show you, is this. Okay, so it started out with me putting my granny squares together, and I wanted to like play around with making some textures on this hat, some like bobbles and puffs and popcorns and things like that, because I thought it would be pretty cool to have like a really textured kind of bucket hat. So I did popcorn stitches in between the Pokeballs. It's a little bit easier to see in this rainbow yarn rather than these ones. But I'm thinking that that was not the way to go because it's making it very boxy and these just kind of stick out a lot. I do want some texture, but I just don't think this is the spot for texture. And then at the top, I did some bobble stitches. I did 2 rounds of bobble stitches, and I also got really creative with this and sort of made up like modified versions of stitches. So these are like all modified versions of stitches to connect together two panels while also making these stitches. And then up here for the second round, I actually did some decreases across bobble stitches, which I'm happy with that. So the issue I'm having is, let me show you and you'll be able to see pretty easily the issue I'm having. It is coming out very boxy. Now, keep in mind that I'm not done with my hat yet, and they do kind of look boxy before you put the brim on them, because I've tried on my mushroom granny square hats before during the process, and they do look, especially down here, they do look really boxy. But the issue I'm having is not the bottom, because like I said, that'll fix itself. The issue I'm having is I feel like the top is really boxy. And I don't think that at this point it's going to resolve itself, because I am pretty close to done with closing up the top of my hat. I have 2 single crochet decrease that I'm working on. Did I finish that one? Yeah, I think I might have just finished 2 single crochet decrease. So I just have 1 single crochet decrease left, and then decreasing and closing up. And I was thinking about putting some like surface stitching up here, because like I said, I want to do like really textured and like have a lot of intrigue to it, but I don't think that it is like working right now. So I have a couple of things that I'm thinking I should probably do. One being, I'm thinking that these popcorn stitches are just not going to work here, and I'm honestly not sure if popcorn stitches are going to work on this hat in general. I think they might just be a bit too much, like a bit too popped out for a bucket hat, but I do like the way that the bobble stitches came out, and I think puff stitches would be good too. So I had switched to double crochets, like a modified double crochet, when I got up to the top. So what I'm thinking is, I started down here. I could probably cut my yarn a little bit and pull out until I get up to here, because this is connected onto here. So in the nature of, or in the nature of, I don't know, in the nature of is what I'm gonna say, of not having to take the whole hat apart for this, I'm thinking I'll just start down here where I started it, take that out, unravel it up till I get to those double crochets, and then decide if I want to do like a puff or a bobble stitch, or I might just do double crochets or something, and keep it simple, because these squares are quite large. At least for a hat, they're quite large. My mushroom hat, the granny squares are 5 inches across. These squares are 6 inches across, so they're not like big squares, but they're not the dimensions I'm used to working with when I'm doing a hat, and I do 4 granny squares. But I have a big head, so I knew that I didn't want to just like slip stitch them together or single crochet them together, probably, because I thought I'll probably want that little bit of distance between them. So doing like a little bit of a longer stitch for me, because of my big head, and I like bucket hats to not be tight. There is something else though that I'm thinking I need to change, and I just don't know if I want to change it on this hat, or if I want to work the rest of the hat up and see how it comes out and then change it on a future hat. I'm like, I haven't decided. So for sure I'm going to be pulling these popcorn stitches out tonight. So I wanted to show you before I took them out, so you could see that the creation process of coming up with something is not just like, you know, stellar, you come up with it on the first try every time kind of thing. There's definitely like trial and error. And you can work up like a whole hat and have to take it apart, which might be what I end up doing. But I'm definitely going to take these out and do something smaller. But the other thing that I was thinking is I wanted to jump straight into a puff stitch round, or a bobble stitch round, because I like the way that they kind of go down into the little spot in between the granny square tops. But I'm thinking that that might be what part of what's contributing to it being boxy, is because I don't immediately do something to kind of cinch in, because the granny squares are square shaped. So I'm kind of like solidifying in the square shape with this round, and then that's creating like a lampshade effect. And I want it to be a little more rounded. So I'm thinking maybe I should do a decrease round, not a harsh decrease, just a soft decrease. And then probably I could do my bobble stitches, or puff stitches. But I don't know, like I said, I don't know if I want to pull all of this out, because these were already quite a bit of work, and then, you know, obviously these were quite a bit of work. But I'm like, do I want to make it and then not love it? You know what I mean? It's a hard decision. And like I said, they do come out, they are a little boxy before you add the bottom on. I just don't see this correcting itself enough to not be boxy. So yeah. And it is like, you know, if I squish it flat, it is tapered like a hat. It is shaped like a hat. It's just a little more boxy than I'm wanting. So that's where I'm at right now. And I will update you guys in the morning when I actually go to film this video for my Wednesday video, my WIP video. Yeah, perfect. That'll be WIP Wednesday. I didn't even realize. I was just like, yep, this is what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. I've been like hyper focusing on this like crazy. That's why I didn't get a whole lot done on my mandala, because when I finished that bingo bag, I was like, all right, on to my hat, because I've been like wanting to do this hat. Or not. Did I say finished my mandala? I meant to say finish my bingo bag. If I said finish my bingo bag, that's what I meant to say. If not, I meant to say bingo bag. So yeah, when I finished my bingo bag, I just like jumped into this because I really was excited to make like a really bright rainbowy hat. And I've got like, these are all Red Heart Super Saver striping and color blocking. And then this one's Mexicana, which I can't remember. It's just a variegated. It's right there. But I've got like 3 different striping and color blocking yarns in here, because I am just like having a field day with the color. I want this one to be bright, so I know this is definitely, the brightness is definitely not everyone's cup of tea for this hat, but that's what I wanted this hat to be. But I don't want it to be so boxy, so that's where I'm at right now with the designing process on this hat. Wish me luck, and I will check in with you guys in a minute for you and in the morning for me. Okay, so you guys saw what I had going on yesterday, and you got a little glimpse of what I've got going on now. So what I've got going on now is I literally just ended up frogging the whole hat after my clip yesterday, because I had things that I wanted to change on kind of like everything other than the granny squares. So here's what I've got going on. I went with this modified double crochet that I came up with, which is working a double crochet across the space in between the granny squares to connect the granny squares. And, you know, I say I came up with, I'm sure it's been done a million times, but I've never seen it before. And I came up with it for myself. So here's what this side looks like. And I used the Mexicana for that. And then I worked 2 rows of single crochet the way that I would normally. And then now I'm starting to work bobble stitches. So I'm kind of thinking, instead of just going straight up and doing bobble stitches the whole round, because I am afraid that that's still going to give me a boxy look, even though right now I do have it coming in a little bit more cinched and a little bit more shaped how I want it to be. I'm just still not sure about just doing a straight up bobble stitch round. So what I'm thinking is I actually wrote it down before I went to bed, even though I didn't actually get to try it yet. So I'm going to try out doing 6 bobble stitches, and then in between each bobble stitch I do a single crochet, you know, to give the definition to the bobbles. So I'm thinking I'll do 6 bobble stitches and 6 single crochet, you know, like in between each one, ending on a single crochet. And then I'm thinking I'll try doing a decrease. Was that what I had? Yeah. So I'm going to try doing a decrease and then doing 6 more bobble stitches, a decrease, 6 more bobble stitches, a decrease. Because that is like the round that I'm on for, you know, slowly decreasing up to cinch the hat. I'm on what would normally, if I wasn't doing like bobble stitches or whatever, it would just be like 6 stitches a decrease. So I'm like, okay, let's try 6 bobble stitches and a decrease, and see where that lands us. So that's what I'm going to try next, and I'm going to go from there. But right now, I'm happy with this. I think that the just double crochets look a lot better. That just wasn't the spot to add the texture, and that's totally fine. That's like, you know, part of the process of creating something is trial and error, and I put them there and I didn't like them there. That's totally fine. I took them out. So now I just want to work on making the top work out how I want it to, getting some texture in there, and then still having it cinch up without looking too wonky, you know, to be the top of my hat. All right, well, I will check in with you in a moment. Guys, it is too early in the morning. Why did nobody tell me I was being dumb? So what I wrote down was not what I said. I meant that I was going to do 3 bobbles because it would be a total of 6 with my single crochets. And my dumb 5 o'clock in the morning brain was like, yeah, 6 bobbles and 6 single crochets. And I went all the way around the hat until I got to here and noticed that my stitches weren't gonna come out to the right number, to realize that, to sit here and go, what did I do wrong? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I went through and took out all the bobble stitches and redid the round with the 3 bobbles and a decrease. So here's what we're looking like. And I think it's actually nicely cinching in. So I am happy with the shape so far. I think that that is working up exactly how I hoped it would. And here is kind of the way that it's looking. And like I said, I know that this is brighter than maybe some of you would want for yourself, but this is the color that I wanted it to be really colorful for this one. So I'm really happy with the color. But I'm excited about making this textured pattern. I think this is going to be super, super cool. And here's what I've got going on so far. So I'm going to look at it for a minute and think about it. Think about what I want the next row to be. I'm thinking probably I should do a single crochet round, but I don't know. I might do another puff stitch round, or not puff stitch, bobble stitch. Gotta think about it. I might work up a few stitches and see how it looks. But I will come back in a little bit and show you what I've decided to try. Okay guys, I decided to bring you down to workstation level and actually take you along for this process of testing out some stuff and seeing what I want to do next. So I'm thinking that the next thing I want to do is actually switch colors, because I think either way, if I do more bobble stitches especially, I think it'll look nice to have them nestled in a different color, a contrasting color. So I'm just going to cut my yarn, and from dismantling my hat yesterday, I've got this blue from the skein that I'm currently on. So the skein that I'm currently using, by the way, is this one, which is jumbo stripes in the colorway polo stripe. And I've got a little clip on here because I had to frog a bunch of stuff yesterday, and so I actually still have I kind of made a ball, which is almost gone now and not really a ball. But I wanted to keep from pulling out of the center pull when I was unraveling that ball as I continued working today. So that's why I have that little clip on there. But yeah, I've got this little blue one blue purple, and then it kind of transitions into purple. So I'm thinking I will do a color change here. So I ended on a decrease because that's how I like to do my rounds. I like to do my stitches and then do a decrease. I know some people like to start with a decrease because I've seen that, you know, in patterns. Usually in patterns, if it has me do it that way, I actually do it the way that I like to do it instead. But so I'm just gonna make a slip knot for this color change and pop it on my hook and just pull it through. Make that a little bit tighter and pull it through this one, and then I'm just gonna pull on my tail, and then I'm gonna knot the tail from the other color to it. And then I'll just work these, possibly work these under under my next stitches, but for now I'm just going to kind of get them out of my way because I'm not actually working my next row yet. I need to play around with it. I want to make sure that that's focused for you guys. These colors, especially the pink, really likes to blow up or blow out. I always want to say blow up. Really likes to blow out my colors. Okay, so if I want to do a puff stitch round, again, I'm gonna chain one just to give myself a little bit higher up, and then I'm doing my puff stitches with, oh my gosh, why do I keep calling them puff stitches? I meant bobble stitches. I'm doing my bobble stitches with 4 double crochets in them. So I work up half of my double crochet 4 times, and then I pull through all of them. And that's just how I'm doing them for this particular project. I thought that 4 gave me a nice little puffy stitch and wasn't too big, because, you know, I had that issue with the popcorn stitches were just a little bit too big, I feel like, for this particular hat. I want texture, but not that much 3-dimensional texture as the popcorn stitches were giving me. So this round would be a 5 stitches and then a decrease. So this would put me at 4. I'm just going to work up to the first decrease, I think, and then see what I'm thinking. See if I like that. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to work over my tails yet, because with this hat, I can just weave them in the inside. It doesn't matter. Because, you know, it's the inside of the hat. Oh, wait, I'm going to be doing a decrease. So, I have, like, worked over my tail right here, actually, and I think I might take this one out and just weave it in on the inside, because you can see that green through. So I'm not sure if I'm going to work over those other tails or not. And then a decrease. And I'm doing an invisible decrease. I thought it would look a little nicer. Okay, so that's what that would look like. I think I'm feeling it. I think I'm feeling it. So, all right, I started with this. I'll have to remember to ignore this chain. I'm going to work up a little bit more, I think, and see what I'm thinking. And then if I decide to keep it, then I won't even have to frog it back, because I can just keep it. Because if I do a single crochet round, it's more for the shaping of the hat than like any, you know, anything cool looking. But like, you know, sometimes you need those structural rows too. You can't just do bobbles and puffs every round. I don't have any puffs worked in yet. But I thought that having some stitches next to each other, like for 2 rounds would be kind of cool because they could sort of go together. So 1 more and then a decrease. Lincoln. I think you're about to get cat cammed. Alright, doing a decrease. Oh, I think he's going to the other desk. It's gonna go stand on my printer. Okay. So here's what we are looking like. Pull that out so I can get a better look. I think I'm liking that. I'm going to work up some single crochets just to see how that will look. And then I'll make up my mind. Indecision at its finest. So I'm going to do 1, 2... Lincoln is trying to get into my polyfill over there. Lincoln, stop trying to get into everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Decrease. Link. And I'll go ahead and work another 5. 1, 2... Daddy's coming for... Or wait, Freddy's coming. Daddy's coming for you. Oh my goodness. 4. I'm sorry, guys. I'm like watching him and doing this. Making sure he doesn't get into stuff because there's just so much over there he can get into. Link, get down. Link. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna get him down. Okay, so I worked up 10 single crochets with the 2 decreases, and I worked up 10 bobble stitches. Well, not 10 bobble stitches because of the single crochets, but I worked up the same amount of stitches technically. He immediately got back up there. You know, I actually thought I was going to like that more, but this gives me more stitch definition. Those bobbles just look a lot more bobbly. You know? You know, I might do single crochets. Alright, I think I'm going to do some single crochets. So I will do some single crochets and see what I want to do next. Alright, guys. I lied. So I ended up playing around with it a little bit more, and I actually decided to do another bobble stitch round, but I shifted where I started in the round so that the bobble stitches came up in between the other bobble stitches instead of stacking, because that's what I wanted them to do. So I shifted a little bit and played around with it a little bit, and so I ended up doing 2 bobble stitches. So it's like a single crochet, a bobble, a single crochet, a bobble, a single crochet, an invisible decrease, and then a repeat. So single crochet, bobble, single crochet, bobble. And then that's what that looks like. And look at it cinching in. We're getting our hat shaped nicely. I think this is looking so much better than it did before, and I haven't tried it on my head yet, so you are here for the head test. Now keep in mind, like I told you before, before the hat is actually formed, it does look funky because the brim isn't on here yet. Oh, that is looking leaps and bounds better, you guys. That is looking so much better. Yay! You can definitely see that it's going to be, oh, I am so glad I redid that. That is looking so good. Okay, guys, so that is going to be it for today's work in progress video. I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me while I work on coming up with this hat. I think we made really, really good progress. I think that looks so much better than it did last night before I went to bed. I think that switching this out was a really good choice. And the shaping that we've got going on is so much better. I can't see what you're seeing right now, but you can kind of see how the top of it is looking. And I can feel that it's coming together very nicely, like shape-wise. And it's going to come to, like, you know, the hat top very nicely. Super stoked about that. Woot! I purposely did not try it on my head until I came back so you guys could see it along with me and get a feel for how it was going. So happy with that. All right, guys, I hope you are having a wonderful WIP Wednesday. Let me know what you are working on in the comment section. And I will keep working on this hat, and you guys will see it again soon when I finish it. All right, guys, I will see you later. Bye!